to the Low VA Rates Nation. Hey, thanks again so much, because this is our third installment of, we're working on some credit today. We've had some great credit discussions. 2 weeks ago we started with the credit monitoring, what they do, what they don't do. Last week we dove into the FICO score, and this week we're actually going to have a link between last week's topic and a bottle of wine. Because one of the things that you see, I've been told this, that time will also make your wine taste better, and it's going to help with your FICO score today. So as we go through these things and we take a look, we're going to break this down and gives maybe some tips about how you can get that credit score to increase, so you're going to be able to so you're going to be able to buy a home with those earned VA home loan benefits, or refinance your home with those hard-earned VA benefits. So we're going to free up a little bit of our space today. Sorry, I know it's Friday afternoon and this is just a drawing on the board, but we got to get rid of our bottle of wine and our glass. So last week when we talked about this amount of owed percentages, and we kind of looked at some of these things, and I want to slow down a little bit today on this iteration so we talk about it a little bit more. So if we have, let's say, a Visa account, and it has a high credit and a balance. If the high credit, remember, it's Friday. I got to make this one Nebraska simple so I keep everybody along with this. If we have $1,000 of high credit and we have a balance of $500, it's going to be a 50% utilization percentage. The goal is, if we can keep this balance down to maybe a $400 range, which would be 40%, that's going to help that FICO score. Because remember, 30% of this score is going to be attributed to the balanced high credit rating. Now, remember, if you have a Visa account, maybe you have another down here, and it's a MasterCard. So for example, this one may have a high credit of $2,000, but it only has a $500 balance. So we've got a little bit of flexibility, and what you can do on some of these is you can move some money from this balance down here to this one. So it's going to reduce your balance here, it's going to increase that utilization. If we move it down to the MasterCard, it's not going to impact that utilization percentage, and it's going to give us a positive impact on our credit rating. So those are some of the little things. Remember, and it also takes a little bit of time for these things. It's not like going through the drive-thru at Mickey D's. We have to have a plan, and that's one of the key reasons why you want to work here with our specialists, our VA home loan specialists at Low VA Rates, so they can articulate a plan regarding maybe how to use that Visa and the MasterCard together, so we can figure out the best way to get you into that new home loan. So there's one of the things that we talked about on our amount owed percentages. You can maybe pay this down with a tax return, or we can do some other things. The next part of this is to look at the payment history. So remember, we use that analogy, time makes everything taste better. We're going to look at our payment history on these. So let's say we have we'll do a car loan. And this is a car loan that has a 60-month term. And we're maybe, today, we're at the 48th payment. But previously, we had maybe we were deployed, we got to spend some time out at the great NTC, we got to hang out in Djibouti, someplace nice, right? Not a lot of access to making our payments. And maybe we missed a payment like number 27 and number 28. We missed 2 car payments because something happened in our life. Now the good news is we've got some distance. We've got maybe almost 2 years time has lapsed. Remember last week when we were speaking about this, there were 3 critical months. We looked at number 6, number 12, and number 24. I'll make that one clean up. That's bad penmanship even for me. So as you look at these things, so if we miss number 27 and number 28, and we're now on the 48th, that's 6 months time. So that means we've gained some, right? That payment history. We've seasoned those late payments by 6 months, and we're even outside 12 months. So we're making our wine taste a little bit better today because we've seasoned those. But we're not quite at the 24-month period. But we're getting really close. And by the time we actually find a home to purchase, we may be seasoning these old lates 24 months. So that's pretty exciting to know that, hey, remember if we have had a payment event that we missed a payment on a credit card or we missed a payment on a car loan or something, it's not the end of our ability to get a VA home loan. Please, we work very, very hard here at Low VA Rates to always work with our veterans, understand the unique situations regarding credit and military service. So we're willing to look through that and create that plan. So we talked about some of the missed payments on that payment history. There's another one. That was the easy one where we have a late payment on us. The other things where we look at is maybe we've had a charge off, where that is something, maybe we had a credit card and it had a balance of say $3,500, and 30 months ago, we weren't able to make our monthly payments and just got so far behind, there was no way to get out of that. And that creditor, they charged off the balance, which means they said, this is an uncollectible debt and we can't find the individual that owes us this money, so we're going to count it as a bad debt. Now, maybe the events in our life have changed. During that time, 30 months ago, we weren't able to make that payment, but now we can. We used our VA educational benefits. We got out, went to school, now have a different job. One of the things, we think in our mind that making and paying that bad debt off will help us purchase a new home loan. It may and it may not. And that's why, again, I encourage everyone to call us here at Low VA Rates so we can look at how those credit accounts are reporting on your credit. So actually, this $3,500 debt that hasn't reported to the credit bureaus for the last 30 months, if you go in and pay this off, it now reports as a paid collection. And today is, we're going to say, it's 5 of 18. Whereas in the past, it might have been seasoned 30 months ago. Remember that? Our 6, 12, and 24 months. This old $3,500 debt that we didn't make payments on was no longer impacting our FICO score. But by being good, outstanding veterans of the United States of America, we went back and we paid that company off. It now hurts us, and that's the worst thing that we could ever do, because I know how difficult it is to save $3,500 to go pay that old debt off. We hate when an act of good faith actually comes back and has a negative impact on that credit. So please, before you do something like that, call us here at Low VA Rates so we can confirm what's the best course of action for you to deal and help with that payment history, because that's 35% of our FICO scores. And the last thing we want to look at, we've looked at, the credit mix, the credit history, and this new credit. There may be times where we have to get some new credit. So one of the things when we look at with our new credit, maybe this is a Visa card. and we have a $300 balance. Maybe it's a secured credit card because we've had some significant credit events. And a secured credit card works where you would mail $300 to a credit card company. They would extend you a line of $300 of credit, and it would allow you to use that to begin to rebuild those. So one of the things you can look at is maybe you use a Visa and a MasterCard to redo that, and they both have that $300 balance. Now please, we know that if this is our high credit, we do not want to carry a balance of $300 on our new Gee Whiz Cool credit cards that we just got because we're rebuilding our credit. What we want to do is maybe have a payment on it each month, and maybe we spend $100 on that one and $50 here. You know, you take the family, and Chick-fil-A becomes the Friday night tradition, because I got to tell you, the world would just be happier with more fried chicken and more sweet tea at the end of every week, especially to celebrate Red Friday. But this will help you get a new credit history, and you're looking at that payment history showing that you can maintain those new debts, and we're all working with the amount owed to reduce those so we can increase our FICO score. Looking at that payment history, remember, time seasons both your credit and perhaps something that you have in the cellar of your house that you would like to uncork on a Friday afternoon, not Friday afternoon, definitely never Friday afternoon, definitely Friday evening to celebrate Red Friday. And our new credit so we can establish these things too. Lance, do we have any questions off-site today, sir? Nope, we're good. All right, thanks everybody. Hey, remember, here is your 1-week warning order to the military community here at low VA rates. Next Friday is Military Spouse Recognition or Appreciation Day. I know I would have never made it through 22 years in the United States Army without headquarters, aka Mrs. Lewis, always taking care of my girls and myself. So thanks everybody. Have a great weekend. Be safe.